Good day. Welcome to Zeer News 24's daily summary of today's top headlines. It's Monday, 2nd of Chagai Cancer 1404, according to the Hijri calendar, corresponding to June 23rd, 2025. I'm Pashtana Uryakil, bringing you the latest national and international news. Top headlines. UNAMA head to address UN Security Council. Rosa Otunbayeva will speak today on the situation in Afghanistan. FM Mutaki at OIC Summit. He condemns U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities, calling them violations of Iran's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Hunger crisis in Afghanistan. The World Food Program reports 15 million people are facing severe hunger. Emergency aid coordination. The Afghan Red Crescent chair meets with IFRC officials to discuss emergency assistance for returnees. OIC condemns Israeli strikes. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation denounces recent Israeli attacks on Iran, Syria, Lebanon, and Gaza as flagrant breaches of international law. Gaza tragedy continues. 5 Palestinians seeking aid have reportedly been killed in recent strikes in Gaza. Detailed reports. UNAMA head to address UN Security Council. UNAMA's office in Afghanistan has announced that Rosa Otunbayeva is scheduled to present a report today to the UN Security Council on Afghanistan's current situation. Mutaki condemns U.S. strikes at OIC Summit. Afghan Foreign Minister Mullah Amir Khan Mutaki, speaking at the 51st OIC Foreign Ministers meeting, strongly condemned U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. He warned that these actions threaten regional stability and violate Iran's sovereignty and territorial integrity. In a sideline meeting with Turkish FM Hakan Fidan, he discussed enhancing bilateral ties and addressing regional issues. Severe hunger crisis in Afghanistan. The WFP has sounded the alarm over a hunger crisis in Afghanistan, reporting that 15 million people, 1 in 5, are facing acute food insecurity. It also noted that funding shortages have left thousands without access to aid. Red Crescent coordinates emergency aid. The chair of the Afghan Red Crescent, Shahabuddin Delaware, met with IFRC official Samia Al-Fakhouri and colleagues to discuss expanding support for returning refugees amid the current emergency. They plan assessments in Herat and Nimraz provinces and aim to coordinate with other organizations to mobilize much-needed support. Stay tuned. Next, we'll bring you our international news segment right after a brief break. Islamic states condemn Israeli strikes. At the 51st meeting of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, foreign ministers strongly condemned Israel's bombings in Iran, Syria, Lebanon, and Gaza, describing them as clear violations of international law. The OIC statement called on the international community to hold Israel accountable for its oppressive actions and atrocities. Additionally, a special coordination group was established to align global responses against Israeli aggression. Meanwhile, North Korea also condemned the U.S. strikes on Iran and urged the world to take a firm stand against these acts by both the United States and Israel. Tehran's Evin prison and Fordo nuclear facility targeted. Iranian state media report that Israel has targeted Evin prison, home to dual national detainees and Western civilians often used as diplomatic leverage. The Fordo nuclear site was also reportedly hit. Thankfully, there have been no casualties and no major damage to facilities so far. In response, President Trump reversed earlier statements, now suggesting that the attacks were intended to pressure Iran into regime change. 5 Palestinians killed in Gaza. In central Gaza's Nusayrat area, a humanitarian shelter and those waiting for aid were attacked. At least 5 innocent Palestinians were killed and many more injured. Humanitarian sources report that several of the wounded are in serious condition, and the death toll may still rise. The Israeli army has not yet officially commented. Meanwhile, international human rights groups warn that continued conflict and disruption of aid are pushing thousands of Gazan families into hunger, displacement, and homelessness. Suicide bombing in Damascus kills 20. A suicide bomber attacked inside the Greek Orthodox Mar Elias Church in Damascus during worship, killing at least 20 people and injuring over 50. State news reports that the attacker was affiliated with ISIS. Syria's interim president, Ahmad al-Shara, condemned the attack and pledged significant measures to protect religious minorities. Russian airstrikes in Kyiv and other areas. Kill 6. Russian airstrikes hit multiple residential areas in and around the Ukrainian capital, damaging hospitals, sports centers, and metro shelters. On Sunday evening, a drone attack near Chernihiv killed 2 people, including 3 children injured. Similarly, at Bilat Tserkva, 1 person was killed and 8 others injured in separate strikes. That concludes the International News Update. Let's move to the world of sports. The FIFA Club World Cup 2025 continues. Real Madrid defeated Pachuca 3-1. In its first match, Real had drawn 1-1 with Al Hilal. With this win, Real Madrid now tops its group with 4 points. This tournament, featuring 32 teams divided into 8 groups, is hosted by the United States. It began on June 14th and will continue until July 13th. In Helmand's Nawzad district, a tape ball cricket tournament among 7 teams concluded with Bar Nawzad Stars emerging as champions. In the final match, they defeated the Kili Badam team by 6 wickets to claim the title. In Nangarhar's Kogyani district, a football tournament among 6 teams, held for the first time and lasting 10 days, concluded with Rodat winning the championship. The final match between Rodat and Baradran teams ended in a draw during regular time, but Rodat won in penalty kicks by 4-0. In Kunduz's Chahar Dara district, a volleyball tournament involving 16 teams took place overnight. The Javid Kpalwak team claimed victory by defeating the Yatim Kali youth team with a score difference of 25-20 in the final. That's it for today's sports news. Follow and like our programs on social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube at Zeer News 24. Until tomorrow's broadcast, stay safe and goodbye.